Yeah, we're doing a tier list, and I figured I got my double espresso. Haven't learned shit. Still delicious. Today we've got a Midnight Club 2 character tier list. We finally made it. How difficult are these motherfuckers? I'm gonna rank them, and I'm not gonna rank them in the S tier, A tier, B tier. No. I sat down for an hour and a half on my notebook, and I fucking formulated this bitch to a science, okay? So when we think about difficulty, I thought of 3 different avenues. When you play Midnight Club, you're either playing it for the first time, the second to a millionth time, or you're speedrunning it. And these characters, they're difficult in different definitions, right? Some of these guys, the first time you play it, traumatizing, but then once you get over it, he's easy, she's easy. These other guys, you know, if you have one shot, oh fuck, nerves. So that's why I have the world's biggest fucking tier list of all time, 9.5 and plus, no one's gonna be a 10. And basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna rank all these guys individually based on their 3 different categories combined into one score. So for example, Moses, I'd rank him on how hard he is the first time you race him, and then, you know, the 5th time, once you're like just revisiting the game, and then, you know, more in a speedrun format, you got rush, you know, you can't really think straight. So, without further ado, let's start LA. Let's start calm, collected, natural, and yeah, of course we're gonna start off with our little buddy Moses here. I gave Moses a 3.6. Hey. You know, I know what you're thinking. How the fuck does he get anything over a 1? He's the starter guy. I do think that first race is actually pretty difficult, okay? And I'm not saying for the first time, but my girlfriend failed like 5-6 times, and it's just a straight line. You crash your car in that, I mean, shit, you pretty much lose, right? And sometimes shit can happen. So I'm putting Moses at a 3.6. Thank you. So he's below average, right? Average is 5. We know math. Next up, we have Steven. Where is Steven? Oh my God, Steven's a 1.2. Now, why is Steven a 1.2? Primarily, it's kind of like a slap across the face when they introduced the unordered race to the biggest fucking idiot. I mean, this shit is so pathetic of a race, and I know it's like a tutorial, but I don't think I've ever lost a Steven race in my life. Like first time playing it as a 2-year-old, 20th time speed running it, and so there just isn't any point in terms of ranking him any higher. He's never been an obstacle. He's always been an afterthought. He's a total joke. Now things get a little interesting. We're gonna move over from Steven to Maria. Maria gets a 6.6. Now I know what you're thinking. Holy shit. Maria, like the 3rd racer in LA, she gets a fucking over average, pretty high. She's in the green, as you can see. No more dark, moody colors. I'll explain why. Let me get a sip of water. Maria's first race in LA is actually probably like the 3rd hardest race in the entire Los Angeles section. Think about it when you're first playing it, okay? I think Maria's pains come really from that first playthrough. That's the one that really carries her number to a 6, above a 6. You're on a freeway for 3 fucking minutes in a cocote, in a city. And the way the game is, it throws a shit ton of traffic at you that you don't really know much about, you know? You don't realize there's scripted shit. And so you're doing this 3-minute slog of a race where if you crash once, you could probably nitrous to catch back up. If you crash twice, the race is over. The race is over. So I always struggled with her as a kid. And it was kind of a joke that this shit was so hard. Obviously, it's a little easier with the emu, but still, I think she gets overlooked when people first start out. And then also, you know, when you play it again, it's not like a given, dude. Like, especially when you're playing on How Hard Can It Be 9. These motherfuckers are pretty fast. You can't really make any mistakes for 3 minutes on a freeway. I know you're going slow. I know the traffic's slow. But, you know, shit can happen. So for that, she's a little unpredictable. I'm giving her a 6. Now, what goes after Maria? Let's do Angel. Angel is also a joke, in my opinion. Not at the level of... Where's this fucking Brad? I give him a 2.1. He's not as much of a joke as Steven, but I think overall, like, his car really does him a disservice. I mean, we're talking about LA, right? This is like the top speed capital of the game. These cars don't even hit 125, so don't worry about you know, when there's a straightaway, you could be in the Cocote, you could breathe, you're okay. And I think that hinders him a bit. That's why you see him paired with Monstros and City Turbos, because the game's like, oh fuck, like this car is trash. We gotta actually make the other guys good. And you know, I think he's a fog merchant. He cheats. He uses his daddy. Overall, just a soft ass motherfucker. For example, you know, I'd say his first time around, I gave it a 4, you know, out of the 10 scale. But then after that, 1 and a 2.5 for, you know, 5th time playing, 2.5 for speedrun, because, you know, I think it's always a little harder with your one shot. But he's a fucking joke, you know? So, next up, let's do a little Gina, huh? Should we do Gina? We'll do Gina. I gave Gina a respectable 4.6. Yes, I think Gina's easier than Maria, even though she's the one that I'm terrified of when I did my Nuzlocke. I'll explain why. The Nuzlocke are the reason she's this high. We're talking about the 4.6. Yeah, I gave her a very high score on the speed run, but other than that, like, she's like okay, dude. Like she's got the bike race. She does like the tutorial thing. It's more of like a grind, right? There's like 4 races you gotta do with this motherfucker. I don't know why she's so like heavily prioritized in the game, but I do think Gina is just like, her cars have low acceleration. She's chill. Like the races are relatively short. Motorcycles are always a pushover. You'll get to see that down the road. I think she's like not hard, but I don't think she's like that easy either to like the level of Moses or like Steven. So I'm gonna give her like the benefit of the doubt, make her like, you know, a little below average. That's where I'm gonna put her at. Next up is Hector. Get the wire cutter. I gave him a 7.25. Damn. Hector comes up here. He's our first 7. And it's because I think the first time you're racing this guy, he is sticking it in your ass. I mean, we've got the Monstro, in my opinion, the best car in LA. It's like the Psycho XS of LA. Highly unpredictable, but once you tame that bitch, the ceiling no longer exists for speed. And, you know, it's pretty aggressive. These motherfuckers will slam into you. He's got that added aura of being a menacing person on the side. And the races are long. They're tricky. There's a lot of turns you got to take quickly. The Monstros just outclasses your car in every aspect, unless you're having the jersey, which is after him, so you never have a shot to use that car against him. And I think that's a big deal, you know, when you're first starting out. Even when you're trying it for the 2nd, 3rd time, revisiting the game, it's not a pushover, dude. Like, that last race from Hector, it's going to get you restarting a couple of times. And then speedrunning, of course. You never know what's going to happen with this guy. There's so much traffic. There's so much shit that goes on. You never really know if he's really going to fucking, you know, blow your back out on some corners. So we're going to give him a 7.25. Very respectable. And that leaves us with, we got Dice. We got the LA champion. And the LA champion gets a 6.5. What? Yep, I do think Maria is harder than Dice. I don't think Dice is hard at all. I think Dice is a total fucking pushover. Relatively to the other LA champs, I should say that. You know, he's obviously not like the easiest boss. I just think he's LA is just an easy map overall, man. And I think the jersey was kind of fucked. I think it should have had at least a 200 miles per hour top speed. Maybe kill the acceleration a bit. The 2 nitros were a good touch. But when I was first racing in Midnight Club 2 as a kid, for me, like Maria was like the, oh fuck, like I gotta beat Maria. Like that was the one that took me weeks. Dice still took me a while. I mean, he's a 6.5, guys. We're not calling him trash, right? And Hector also, like, holy shit, you fucking kicked my ass. I don't think Dice is the scariest person in LA, though, in my opinion. That's why he's, like, relatively low compared to the rest of, you know, the LA champions. But that right there is... That right there is Los Angeles. You guys are probably wondering, why the fuck are there 4 motherfucking Savos down there? Because I figured if we ranked all 6 races for Savo alone, it's kind of bullshit. He's going to win, right? He's got 6 races. I decided to segment them to make it a little more juicy, also because it's kind of fair, right? We're not comparing guys with 2 races to people with 6 races. So we're going to actually rank the Savo USA version right now. And let me just look through. You guys won't believe this. You guys will not believe this. I gave Savo's US version a 6.3. And this is the Sopranos guy. I think this is like, once you beat Paris, you beat the game. I think that's how easy it is. I mean, holy fuck. LA is a joke. I mean, all these videos of doing shit in Bestias, City Turbos. Like, the first one's an unordered race, right? It's in the rain. It looks daunting. But for some reason, even on your first try, you're doing this route and you're like, this shit isn't actually hard. Like, it feels very straightforward. It's not like the Paris one where you're like, okay, anything's possible. I can take any route in the world. Who the fuck, you know? It feels like it's kind of given to you. And for some reason, unlike the other unordered race, these AI guys are stupid for this one. Like, they crash, they just fuck around, and you can win by such a large amount. And then the second LA race, it's a marathon. And in Midnight Club standards, that's a good thing. Because, you know, starting off, you're going to be crashing a lot. So you're like, oh, fuck, like, I gotta fucking, oh, Jesus, like, I gotta catch up. You're always giving an opportunity to catch up. It's not like a 2-minute sprint where if you crash, it's over. You can crash multiple times, and you still are genuinely going to be having a shot towards the end. It's 7 minutes. That's the intimidating part about it. But it's LA. LA is just an easy map, dude. I mean, it's wide as fuck. You don't have a lot of bullshit shortcuts that, you know, they're very high adrenaline, like Tokyo or Paris. So overall, I do think, like, Savo LA has never been scary. In fact, if you guys know BK4, this motherfucker struggled on the unordered races. First tried the last race. Like, first try. So that shows something, right? He's not the best, too. I mean, you know. Anyways, we're going to Paris now, and we're going to start off with Blog. Mr. Blog. Very, very fun guy. I think Blog is the most engaging introduction to a city. And for Blog, I gave him a respectable 6.6. I gave him a little higher than Maria towards the end. And let's put him over here. Because I do think the Boost is a really good car. The Boost is one of the best in Paris when we talk about the quick turns, the acceleration. And you're just getting that Jersey XS, right? And you're, you know, probably a little too stupid the first time to realize, oh, just because it's the boss car doesn't mean it's the best in Paris. Regardless, you're going to get smoked in these corners. You're going to be getting fucking, mommy, what is this place? You know, it's difficult. It's not like the easiest city in the world to get accustomed to when you're coming off Wide Road Merchantville, okay? So Blog is there at a healthy difficulty. We're not talking average. You know, you're expecting the first guy to be relatively easier. We'll get to that in fucking Tokyo. But Blog's not bad. Blog's not bad. He gives a healthy challenge. I think the second race is harder than the first one. I think the first one's pretty easy. But overall, like, they're both pretty difficult. They won't stump you for too long, though. Now, next up is Julie, and Jewel. I gave her a 7.5. Wow, I actually don't remember that. So my reasoning clearly here is she's a speedrunner's nightmare. The first race is, I think it's one of the hardest races if, you know, you have one shot. It's a 40-second race, and if you crash once, forget about how many nitros you have. If you crash once, you lose. Okay, period. I do think that second race is actually very difficult too, because you're going up against Branston is actually probably one of the best probably the best LA car. Next to, guess what, the Freephone X, who's also in that race. A lot of shortcuts in that race, that second one. And usually you gloss over Jewel and Julie because she's relatively new, like early on in the parts of Paris. But I do think she's like a healthy amount of difficulty. Like, I don't think she's as much as a pushover as I remembered. I thought about my days as a kid. She kicked my ass multiple times. And yes, I'm ranking her currently as the spiciest character. But we're yet to explore the 8s. Speaking of that, we got Primo. Oh, Maron, as they say. Primo is a fucking 8.666 dash. He is no joke, guys. Where do I start? Let's point out the elephant in the room. This guy has a Tokyo car in Paris. Now, it's not the fastest Tokyo car, but it means it has 3 nitros. I mean, it's gonna have stats to the, you know, the Paris champion, very similar. One of the best handling cars in the game. An unordered race where traffic doesn't spawn for the other side, where a lot of traffic spawns on your side, where one crash will get you flipping over, doing bullshit. Yeah, that first race is actually A 10. I gave it a 10 in terms of difficulty. The only thing is that second race is really not that bad. That's why I think, in my opinion, if this was just solely a Vortex thing for at least this guy, based on the cars you have right now, I'd put him up to like a 9. But Primo's no joke, man. I mean, you saw me. I always fucking held my breath during my Nuzlocke when I had one shot to beat this guy in a Brianston. I'm confident that I can do it, but in one shot, no. And the first time you race this guy, you're up till 4 a.m. trying to figure it out. The 5th time, maybe 2 a.m. The 10th time, you're still at midnight figuring out why the fuck you can't evade traffic. It's really, really quick reflexes. He's an F1 driver, so it's an homage to that. Great Midnight Club 2 story writing. We know about this shit. Anyways, he's the highest by far so far. We're talking about high 8s. Let's see if we could revisit that soon. Now, after Primo, I'd say let's go like for Stephane, right? And Stephane actually, respectfully, isn't that easy. I think he's harder than Savo. Yeah, damn, I put him there. I think he's in the middle of Savo and Dice. I gave him a 6.41, and my reasoning is the first unordered race, again, looks daunting, isn't that bad, but still gave it like a 6, 7. That second race is pretty brutal, dude. People forget about it because there's like, Paris is the middle child, right? We don't really remember a lot about Paris. We think about the final bosses and the early racers. Paris is kind of hard, dude. The fucking rainy map with the Alarde, with hella traffic, your car's smoking, you're taking these jumps like out the gate. It's not easy, man. And plus that song that they keep fucking playing on restart will fuck with your head. So that's the one that kind of elevates it more. I'd say I was going to put him at a low 6, but that second race with the rain, with the unpredictability, he definitely comes up to a higher 6, okay? So that's Stephane. Moving forward, we're going to talk about Ian now. Ian is the definition of fun. And fun doesn't mean easy, okay? Fun is not a pushover. I think this is the hardest racer in the game when you think about how fun he also is, right? He's high adrenaline. I don't mind resetting 30 times about this guy. 30 times when I'm on this guy because he's actually very exciting. I gave him an 8.41. Okay, I gave him an 8.41 because I think that Ian is very difficult when you first play him. I think he's actually arguably overall more difficult than Primo. Primo's is top heavy, right? That first race is gonna fuck you, right? But Ian, all 3 stages, the bike, the car, it's all super like, holy shit, what's going on, you know? And you can tell also by the way the developers added the main character or the main theme song to his race. Very difficult. I think you gotta respect that a little bit about him. That he's got 3 high adrenaline races with 2 high adrenaline songs. It says something about the person he is and the race you're gonna be in. You're never gonna be not breathing hard after the first time. You're gonna take a long time trying to beat Ian, and it's always demoralizing beating his second race. You don't see continue with new vehicle, and then you see him put his fucking helmet on. Let's go on a bike. That always fucking crushed, regardless of the 5th time, 6th time. I don't think he's harder than Primo because of that first fucking race for Primo, but he's really close. Now, Mr. Habibi, we're talking about none other than Farid. Farid is a fucking joke. He's our first 5 of the day. And I'll be honest, it's kind of not fair. He's got 3 races, but only one of them really is raced with him. We got the first race is just a run from the cops. The second race, listen, how can I say this? It's one of those races where it's very hard when you're first starting out, but then once you realize it's a 1v1, like once your mind settles down, it's a fucking joke. It's not even a race against Farid, it's a race to just crash him. Like you don't care about how long it takes for you to get to the checkpoints. You just crash into him. It's a very hard track layout when you first start out because you don't know where the fuck the catacombs are. You've never been in them at this point. This guy's a catacomb merchant because he's high-profile terrorist or whatever. And then that third race is also a 1v1 with Owen. And I think his car is actually better in terms of like 1v1 style. Like Farid's is very flimsy. It accelerates slow. It's quick, but like when you crash it, you know, who gives a fuck? This guy's a top speed machine, the victory that Owen has. So I do think he like kind of boosts him a little more, even though it's not really Farid. Still, like it's his category. And overall, like, I don't think I've ever been afraid of Farid. I think that first race kicked my ass for like an hour, 2 hours, and then I never thought about it again, right? So that's LA, or excuse me, that's Paris. Now let's go to the Paris champion, Parfait. I actually think she's not as easy as some people say. We're talking about a 7-9 here. We're not talking Primo and Ian. I know, right? I don't think Parfait's on that level. I do think she's better than everyone else, though, in terms of Paris. I think the problem with her is she's got such a fast car, and so you're thinking, oh, fuck, we're cooked. You know, you're seeing that screen of, like, the stats, and you're like, oh, my God, 3 nitrous. In fact, you win her car. If you're a good enough driver, you can smoke most of Tokyo with it. But that's you. This is the AI. These guys, these AIs are so trash. Like, these motherfucking AIs, they're dealing with the flimsiest car in the game. I mean, a street pole, a curb will spin this thing out, flip it over. And that's what I noticed when I was doing my city turbo run. A lot of these times I was winning or like being close to them, like the stupidest shit would set them all off and they'd all crash out and burn. That's what I think is a little easy about them. With that being said, if, and this is a little rare, if the AI get it right, you're not fucking beating her. Like, straight up. Like, it's so hard. Like, when they're locked in, they are the fastest car. Like, one of the fastest cars in the game. Really, the Moto Prego's no joke. The only reason it's so shit, in my opinion, is you can, like, breathe on it, it'll flip over 10 times. Okay? So, 7-9, respectful. I do think Ian and Primo are scarier. Alright. Now we're gonna do Savo and Paris. This is the controversy right here, okay? I actually thought long and hard about Savo and Paris. And the truth is, it's really difficult, right? And I gave him a 9.25. And you're probably thinking, okay, that's not that bad, right? It's interesting because like the most iconic race in the game when it talks about, you know, crashing your head against the wall over and over is that first Paris race. I don't think it's that hard, dude. I think it's probably the easiest race Savo has once you understand where you're going, okay? And let's say you don't use YouTube. Let's say you're a good person. I think it's not that hard to figure out the best way to go. I mean, I kind of, like, I never got there as a kid, so forget it. That's why Tokyo for me is a big deal. I'll get to that. Savo's first race, like, I gave it an 11 out of 10, right? Like a total 11 out of 10. Like, I bent the rules for that first race. But the more you race it, like, once you figure it out, you figure it out. That's the thing with unordered races. Like, once you figure it out, like, the hardest part is just figuring out the route. It's not about evading traffic, about, you know, trying to get to the checkpoints before the other guys. Like, okay, that's a race, I guess. I just explained what a race is. It's not that hard, but that second race helps it stay at a 9. That one's more consistently hard. It's not as hard for the first time, but it's consistently hard. Paris, though, it just offers a lot of thrill. And for me, it's like, what is hard about it? You know, it's difficult in terms of, like, the other ones are going fast, but you're going fast too. Like Tokyo, for example. It's hard because a lot of bullshit happens, right? I don't see a lot of bullshit in Paris. So I gave it a 9.25. It's not like the worst thing in the world, okay? He's up there. Relax. We're gonna go to Tokyo now. Oh, Shingy boy. Shingy boy. I fucking hate Shing, okay? I fucking hate Shing. I gave him a 7.9, and I'm gonna rate him higher than Parfait. So if this was 2-3 months ago, I'd actually put him at a 9. I've realized that last race Shing has, a lot of the reasons, like, I was restarting, like, raging, it's because I didn't have the balls, the mentality to keep going. This isn't a long race. Like, this isn't that long, and a lot of bullshit that gets thrown at you, it's short. It ends after a while. For me, like, the longer a Tokyo race is, it's harder. Versus, you know, for LA and Paris, it's easier. You can catch up. But for Tokyo, the more bullshit you have to go through, the higher chance you fucking crash out. So it's kind of like just a 2-minute race. I always thought it was like a 5-minute race, but, you know, you get ahead and you focus for a little bit, you're gonna win. So with that being said, though, almost hitting an 8. Shing is no joke. I mean, I gave him Yeah, a 7.9. Like, this isn't like some like charity right here. Like, I do think he deserves that, and I think he deserves being above Parfait. You beat Parfait, you're like, oh my god, we got the Moto Prego, it's so fast. And then you see it get pushed around so fucking badly, you immediately switch your car. Okay? Real talk. Ricky, can't you see? 5.58. Let's put him next to his scammer buddy, Farid. Ricky's... It's funny. The Vortex makes the Primo the hardest person in Paris. It makes Ricky the easiest guy in Tokyo. Actually, that's not true. There's someone easier. Ricky's a joke, dude. Ricky, his track layouts is what pisses me off. It's not the cars. It's the way you have to turn. There's like these like over-the-top U-turns. Like you're U-turning, like I don't know what they're called. Like you know, it's a hairpin, but it's more than a hairpin because you're turning back. It's a lot of those kinds of turns. Ricky's friends are scumbags that I noticed they crash into a lot, and it's a lot of like jumps, ramps. But dude, I mean, you can beat this fucking car in a Cocotte like relatively easily. I did that. Like this guy was never the one that like really fucked me, you know. He's average. Like I never. I mean, don't get me started on like the second fucking phase. Like the second race is a fucking easy money. Or excuse me, the second time you're playing Midnight Club, easy. Like you don't even think about it. This guy takes 2 tries max per, and it's because his car's ass. After Ricky, we got Haley. Gave her an 8.7, man. Haley, oh my god, dude, fucking kill me. That fucking race that she has at the start is okay. You know what? I'm actually gonna say this. Haley's unordered race, that first one, is harder than Savo's fucking Paris unordered race. I'm sorry, the amount of technical precision, and it's funny because you know where you're going to. It's not like a route thing. It just the other side of the AI always gets it before you. It's so frustrating. I did it with a Cocotte. Holy shit, I'm just a goat. I know. Check the video out. But Haley's first race as a kid, like traumatizing. Like we're talking 2 months of trying this shit, just one race. And you know, you beat that race, you go, oh my god, no more unordered race. No, because the second race is also a fuck you. Okay, I think Primo's and Haley's first races are right there. I think Primo's actually might be a little harder, but that second race compared to these two, there's no comparison. Haley's is way harder, okay? And that's what gave me, you know, the edge over Primo. Like, Haley's no fucking joke, guys, really. Like, I think you beat Haley, and I think that's it. You're going to Savo. Excuse me. That's very wrong. You beat Haley, that means you beat Nico and you beat Zen, okay? That's more what I meant because, you know, you'll see slowly. We're going to go to Nico right now. Where's Nico? Okay, this is very controversial too. So Nico is a 6.6. Again, similar to Shing, excuse me. If you told me this like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I'd give him a 7, an 8, maybe even a 9. I think Nico, first time is a nightmare. One of the hardest, period. Nightmare. But every time I revisit this guy, I have like this childhood Stockholm Syndrome PTSD that it's going to be just like the first time. And for some fucking reason, I beat it in like the second, third try. And I'm like, we win? I mean, the truth is, the Knight, it's one of the best cars for you. It's a piece of shit for them. It's slow. Like, the acceleration's like what good is handling going to do for an AI, right? It's like average. And it's just hard the first time because that first race is so technical. It's raining. That first segment is a nightmare. Forget it. You're going through all these crates. The cops are on your ass. You're going on these train tracks. Oh my god. But once you get the hang of it, once you beat that first one, second one's a pushover, right? Easy money. And then after that, Nico is an afterthought. Even though he like tries to haunt you, I swear to god, he tries to get in your head like, hey, remember me? You spent so much time on me. He's not that bad, dude. Like, I can fucking go by him nowadays. Like, I first tried him in my playthrough. There's no footage of it because it got corrupted. But I was on my Free Pawn X. I first tried him twice. And it's because, like, the Knight is just not that intimidating of a car. Okay? Alright. Glasses off. Oh, wait, we're doing Zen. Okay, spoiler, Kenichi is dramatic. Now, Zen... Oh boy, you guys are gonna fucking... It's funny because I think I've spent the most amount of time on Zen with my Kokote challenge, but let's be fucking real here, okay? I'm using a Kokote. Like, that shouldn't defer how hard a character is. Oh my god. I think Moses is harder than Zen. I think this guy is, oh my god, so easy. Let's start with the first race. It's a minute long. It's a minute long when you're racing against drivers who take 10 seconds to get back on their bikes. So you hit all these guys once, you have a 10-second lead. And then that's it. You're already 30 seconds. You win, dude. Zen is such an afterthought. He's kicking my ass right now because I'm in a Kokote, and the whole race is just a freeway. So it's basically if they get ahead of you on the freeway, you lose. It's one of those things. That's why I'm like, not getting over that hump. But when we talk about purely, you have like a Knight, you have like a Saiku, you're never worrying about this fucking guy. He's strictly a bike guy, and he's kind of cool, but it's so simple. Like, it's so simple. You just hit the cars, they fall off, and you never look back. Like, if you're in a genuinely enough fast car, they're never gonna catch up to you because they're gonna continue to hit traffic. Like, he's such a joke, and by the time you reach Zen, the experience, the trauma you've gotten from Haley and your first time Nico, he's gonna be a pushover. So forget it. No, he's the easiest Tokyo guy by far. And now the glasses come out. Kenichi. Where do I begin? Kenichi's last race. We're going to talk about his last race. I think it's an absolute art of beauty. And oh my god, get his nuts out of your mouth. I know, it's just a fucking video game. It's absolute art, okay? We're talking about you're going against a Yakuza boss, right? And, you do his deeds for him, you crash in these cars, you beat him the first time. That final race, no shortcuts, heaviest traffic in the game, in any race. Rain, and you're racing arguably the fastest car in the game. It's a thing of beauty. It's a thing of beauty because no matter how many times you race that race, no matter what car you're in, no matter how many hours you have into it, you never fucking know. You never fucking know. See, it's different with Savo's races because once you figure them out, at least the Parisian one, it's easy money. This isn't about the route at all. There's one route. It's universal. There's no shortcuts. It's a straight line. It's all up to you. And by fucking God, this is like a 15 out of 10 when you're fucking talking about first time. It is so goddamn difficult. The fucking stress you have knowing that after this is the Tokyo Champ 2. I gave a 9.58, dude. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. I think pound for pound, Kenichi's one race is, for across all boards, the hardest race in the game. Like, we're talking about speedrunners, we're talking about professionals, we're talking about newcomers. It's always this race where, if you're doing something like that, you 100%, like there's no formula, dude. You just kind of have to survive. It's so unpredictable. Oh, use the night, it's better in the rain. I know, I get it, trust me. But this shit is no joke, okay? This shit is fucking AIDS. But it's also, like, I have such an appreciation for it because unlike everything else in Tokyo, the amount of bullshit, shortcuts, the fucking, just everything else, this one just feels kind of like every time you crash, it is kind of your fault. And there is scripted traffic that goes across you in the intersection, but still, like, there's something about, I want to break this race down, that last race, in a whole other video. And the first race isn't easy either. I'm not saying it just gets overshadowed by this mighty race. I think he's a 9.6, 9.58. He deserves it. We're talking about two races. Now, let's be real here. If we compare all of Savo's races to Kenichi, of course Savo's going to be harder. But I think Kenichi's Tokyo race is harder than both of Savo's races, straight up, in Tokyo. Makoto should not have been there. All right, Makoto. Makoto is a stepping stone for Savo. He is an absolute pushover. He's got one race. I don't remember if it's in the rain or not. I think it is in the rain. 6 minutes, which is pretty brutal. I'll give him that. But the fact that the champion gets one race, are we serious here? And the race is... The AI, for some reason, for Makoto, they're so stupid. I never had trouble with this one. I beat it with the City Turbo. We're going to beat it with the Kokote. Trust. What did I give this guy? You guys are gonna like this. I think he's better than Savo in US, but I think he's not hard at all. I remember vividly as a kid, and then my second playthroughs, Kenichi would keep me up all fucking week just to get to Makoto. I beat him in like 10 tries. Finally figure it out. Holy shit. Like, the amount of difficulty the first time you race Makoto, let's be real here. It's pretty difficult. But it's just so painfully easy when there's just one race, you fucking do it, you're done. There's a time trial that's easy. At this point, you have the Psycho XS that's better than the Torque. I just never really was intimidated by this guy. And I think the developers knew that. They made him like, they get like one, pretty difficult race or whatever, but they knew the bullshit you're about to go through with Savo, so they were like, let's tame it a little bit. Like, they've been through hell in Tokyo. Let's give him a little bone. I'm not saying he's easy, right? He's not like easy money. You can still spend an hour or two on him, but once you really figure out where you're going, this shit is kind of not that bad. And finally, we've got Tokyo Savo. Jesus Christ, what a fucking marathon today. Let's keep it real here. Let's just get to it. Tokyo Savo is a 9.25, just like Parisian. And now you're like, holy shit, Kenichi's the fastest? You're damn right. Kenichi's the hardest, the scariest, because every time I revisit this fool, like, the same amount of fear goes into it. If I race Savo, in fact, let me do this real quick. I think Savo Tokyo is actually harder than the Parisian one, because I think the Parisian one is route merchant. Once you figure out the route, you're good. Savo's is very similar to Kenichi, minus the rain, minus the bullshit traffic, and at that point you have such a better car. If you have a Knight versus a Psycho XS versus a Psycho XS and a Veloci, the gap between a Knight and Psycho are way higher in my opinion. Okay, the Veloci gets smoked by the Psycho for all I fucking care. You're on the freeway. It's a little better than these narrow streets that Kenichi's offers, but I do think it's the second hardest segment. I never got past this as a kid, so there is some bias there. But overall, like, it ain't a fucking pushover. I think he's the hardest Savo segment. I think Paris now is a breeze, total breeze. But I'll never forget first time. It's very difficult. And I just realized I made a penis with the tier list. Very, very cool, very inspirational. That's usually how these work. A lot of them are mid. Let's go through it one more time from the bottom. We've got Steven, Angel, Moses, Zen from 3 to 1. I mean, listen, I think this is more of a testament to Moses not being the easiest guy in the game. Shout out. We know that these two bottom feeders are trash. And then Zen, I think just the concept of a motorcycle-only driver is very cool. But with, how motorcycles behave in this game, the AI being fucking stupid, you can beat him really easily. Gina, kind of intimidating, but I don't really think she's that difficult either. Farid and Ricky, like, scumbag track layouts, but once you figure them out, first try every single time. Savo, excuse me, that's my heart. Jeez, I'm gonna fucking have a heart attack. Savo, LA, total pushover. Once you beat the Paris in Savo, you beat the game. I think this guy is so easy at this point. Makoto, again, not as easy, but still like pretty much there. Ricky, Ricky's harder than these two bozos right here. Dice, again, like, he's okay. Maria, surprisingly high up there. Blog, he deserves that. Nico, you probably expect a little more from him. You'd think a 7, maybe even an 8. I think he deserves a high 6. Hector, definitely the hardest in LA. He's unpredictable. There's a lot of bullshit there. The twins, extremely bullshit race. Oh my god, fucking kidding me right now? Parfait, and then I do think Shing is harder than Parfait. And then finally, we're talking about the 8th and above. These are like the elite clubs. We got Ian, high adrenaline. You know, a lot of shit going on. Your heart's always gonna be pounding. You got Primo with one of the hardest races relatively to your car in the game. Are you kidding me? The bullshit you go through that first race is traumatizing, okay? We got Haley again, that first race. And then you have to tack on that second race with, the Cocotte. I fucking broke my spoon because of that race, okay? And then the really elite compartment. We got Savo in Paris, Savo in Tokyo, and then the Dawn above them all, Kenichi. I broke down why that race is one above all. And that's it. You got it. This is the fucking tier list. Will my opinions change? I don't think so. I think this is a very rigid tier list. The amount of experience I have, I think I counted all forms of difficulty, right? I don't think it's fair to say, oh, Savo's race is the hardest, or Haley is the hardest. Like, I think you got to think about the people that come back to this game, because Midnight Club 2 is so route heavy. You have to take that into account. Are these races hard because you don't know where you're going, or are these races hard because they're fucking hard? I think that's what really separates Kenichi from the rest. It's hard because it's hard. Most of these races are hard because you don't know where you're going. That's it. So I hope you enjoy. Let me know if my head needs to be on a stick. It might not be, your preferred list. I'm going to put these glasses back on because I'm blocking out the haters. And this might be one of my last Midnight Club 2 tier list videos. We'll see. But I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think. And Garakade out.